Sponsors.
We're in the Gambia right now, and we have a very special program. For $45, you can feed an entire family. And this food, especially in the month of Ramadan, is going to be so helpful because obviously you're going to get the reward of feeding the fasting person as well. So for $45, you can help feed a family for an entire month, and we're doing this in 13 countries. Find out more at the Penny Appeal USA website, pennyappealusa.org.
That's right. We are here today with Think About It. I'm your host, Joshua Salaam, and you are the guest, and I'm bringing in another guest later, but thank you for tuning in. This is the show during the month of Ramadan where we're just coming and we're reflecting, we're thinking, we're talking about different things that are in the Quran, different things that are happening in this month of Ramadan, different things that are happening in your life, relevant stuff that I think is important and that I would like you guys to think about. So thank you for tuning in. We're going to come right back. Don't go nowhere. We'll Think About It. All right, everybody. As you know, we like to get right into it, to think about it. First, I want to thank our host for hooking me up with this shirt, Penny Appeal. You know, if they keep giving me clothes, man, hey, it's about to be on because, you know, I don't dress that well anyway. So I appreciate the nice, bright colored shirt. Shout outs to Penny Appeal, pennyappealusa.org. Check them out. Hey, today is an important day because I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts about young people, about youth. I do not say kids. I do my best not to say kids. I get like pressured into it sometime when I'm around a lot of people and everybody's referring to them as kids. Kids, you know, these kids. I don't like saying kids. I like saying youth. And then if they get younger than that, we say children. And you know, if they get older than that, if they're in college, you can say students or something else, or young adults. Because youth tend to live up to the expectations that you give them. You know, they live up to the expectations that you give them. And if you talk about them as if they're in this weird phase of they don't really know about life, and you keep pushing the fact that, you know, their brains are still developing and they don't really know how to make decisions and things like that, they will live up to that and they will use that, and you will find them to be underachievers. But if you give them the expectations that they are like super powerful individuals that could do anything, absolutely anything, then they will. They will. And you know, there's a couple of examples in the time of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessings of Allah be on him and all the Anbiya. But he used to, like, there was one story I know, like there was a young man who I think was like 15, 16 years old, that he made him in charge of the army. In charge of the army, like 50-year-old men were answering to the, yes, sir. What? Where do you want us? You know, on the left, on the right? A 15-year-old. If the youth has potential to lead, you gotta give it to them. You gotta empower them. But if you are stifling them and you always make it seem like, oh, you're just a youth, and they come with good ideas, and if it's, you know, a lot of times their good ideas are challenging to the status quo. Their good ideas are challenging to the powers that be. And a lot of times we as adults get kind of intimidated or at least we get disrespected by it, and we try to put the youth in their place. And it's so easy to put a Muslim youth in their place or a righteous youth in their place because they are already trying to give reverence to the elderly. They you know, have the older people in high esteem. They try to give them respect. They're taught that this is the Islamic etiquette. So if that elderly person, or that, even, I'm not that elderly, but an older person says, you know, what are you talking about? You need to respect your elders. They're gonna clam up, and you're gonna push away these amazing ideas, this amazing talent. In our community, and I live in Northern Virginia, and I worked with youth for about 10, 11 years, full time. That was my job. I woke up, I breathed youth. I mean, I didn't really breathe them in. You know, this is a metaphor, people. I was living and thinking youth from the time I woke up until the time I got exhausted and just crashed at the end of the day. I was always thinking about youth. And I came across some young people that I tell you, they could have ran the masjid. They could have ran the masjid. They could have been the president. They could have been the chairperson at the age of 14. At the age of 14. And I'm not lying, and I'm not exaggerating. I saw youth, I met them personally, that could have been running the entire organization at the age of 14. The only reason they didn't, because nobody gave them the opportunity. That's the only reason. Nobody gave them the opportunity. And maybe they were doubtful themselves. You know, they fed into this you know, narrative that's out there that you're too young, you know, you don't know anything, you got to leave it for the real adults. But if there was a person that knew how to empower them, like, yo, you are amazing, you know, would you like to try to do this? And they'd be like, who, me? I don't know if, no, you can do it. You can. They would just take that opportunity. I'm going to give you an analogy. I'm going to give you an analogy to help you understand what I'm saying. Let's look at sports. Okay, let's look at sports. In sports, you have recruiters who are scouters. Sometimes they're called scouters. They are scouting the next generation. They're going into elementary schools and watching children play football, and they're watching children play basketball, and they're paying people good money to sit there and evaluate. Oh man, here's little Jimmy. Ooh, look at that crossover he did. Oh man, we're gonna have to keep an eye on him, right? And then they're looking at this, man, look at the size of that guy, and he's only 11 years old. Okay, we're gonna keep an eye on him. They are scouting the next generation. Some of them are already trying to make contracts with them. I was watching one YouTube thing. They were trying to give like a Sprite deal or a Nike deal to like some young teenager, even before they got to high school. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? For them, it's about business. For them, it's about an investment. We got to get this talent before somebody else gets the talent. And they know how important that is, and so they get it early. They go looking early. And once they find the talent, they let them know, they recognize them, they try to, you know, take care of them, keep contacts with them. Hey, you know, don't forget me, here's my card, right? All of that. So that one day, possibly, they're going to become a superstar. That's what they're looking for. They're really looking for superstars, or somebody that they can make into a superstar. They're looking for the next Michael Jordan. They're looking for the next LeBron. They're looking for the next Steph Curry. And I'm sorry for all the basketball references if you don't play basketball. They're looking for the next Ronaldo. They're looking for the next Messi. They are out there looking for these youth, for these children. Now, let's bring it back into the masajid, to the Muslim community. Are we doing that? Do you think that we are going out there and looking at youth at a young age to see where the talent is at, to see who is good at, yes, memorizing Quran, who is good at leading a group, who is good at organizing, who is good at negotiating? There's so much talent that is in the youth beyond Quran memorization. We have people that can be running organizations. We have people that can be negotiating contracts. We have people that can be developing apps for the masjid, developing websites for the masjid. At the age of 12, they could be designing the whole website. And we're paying, I'm not trying to cut anybody out of business. I'm saying that we need to invest in that. We need to be looking and say, oh, look, Mustafa, You built that website? MashaAllah, hey, we need to keep his name, right? Recognize him, bring him in, lure her in. Because if you don't, you're going to lose them. Somebody else is going to see their talent. They're going to be, you know, some university is going to see their talent. Give them a full ride scholarship. And once that happens, they're going into the corporate America, right? In fact, even I've seen older youth, like young adults, like 22 years old, 24 years old, who have gotten full ride scholarships at universities for their talent, for their amazing brain, sometimes for their amazing heart. They get full ride scholarships. And then they try to get involved in the masjid. They try to insert themselves, only to be pushed back. I call it the Heisman. They get pushed back by the leadership, like, no, you're not ready. And so it started this whole campaign of this young adult group saying, okay, well, the masjid doesn't want my talent. We're going to go ahead and make a different space. And they started having these third spaces that became this whole thing, and this unmasked thing that happened. You might have saw it on the YouTube. That's how it develops, where new talent tries to come in, and it's almost like the old talent, instead of appreciating this, like, oh my God, we have superstars that are coming and they want to be involved. Let's make space for them here, and we can just mentor them here. Instead of that, they pushed them away. They pushed them away, and we lost a lot of opportunities. And if there's any of those young people that are listening to this show, I don't have any authority, but I'm going to say we're sorry. We're sorry that we pushed you away. We're sorry that we lost you, and we would pray for another opportunity to respect you as young adults, as youth, as students, as children, and to start recruiting and start scouting and start respecting you at a young age, because you really are our greatest asset. You are, there's no investment more important than the youth. You know, and when you look at it like that, if I could use another analogy, I'm running out of time. Sorry, but I'm getting so emotional about this. This is in my heart. I've been dealing with it. If I was a treasure hunter, you know, and I normally have all my tools, you know, to chisel away at the rock, to find the diamonds and to find the gold, and my little brush to brush stuff off to make sure I don't dust it, and I have this whole backpack stuff, you know, and that's what I use to find the treasure. And then all of a sudden, I'm out one day without my backpack, right? And I come across this treasure that I've been reading about in these museums. I've only saw it in a picture, and finally I come across it. Do you think I'm gonna be like, oh man, I didn't bring my tools, you know, man, next time? No, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I will start bleeding from my fingernails trying to do it. I'm going to use my creativity in my head to say, how can I get this treasure? This is like worth millions, billions of dollars. I'm not going to let that go. No, I'm gonna borrow stuff. I'm gonna ask people, because I know how valuable it is, and I'm not going to let it slip through my fingers. You feeling me? That's how youth are. That's how we should feel about youth. When a youth steps into the masjid, a teenager, when they step inside the masjid, Allahu Akbar, you need to look at them like, oh my God, we have this treasure here. How can I make sure that they don't leave? How can I make sure that they have an amazing experience about this masjid? I got to make sure that the right person talks to them. I got to make sure that I go shake their hand. I don't care if I don't have my toolkit. I'm going to be creative. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to borrow some money to make sure that this treasure that is in front of me will come back. And if you don't feel that with youth when they come into the masjid, if you don't feel that, you need to reevaluate yourself. And I'm going to say it with full confidence. I'm talking to you, whoever it is. If a youth walks into the masjid and the first thing that happens is you look at them like, astaghfirullah, why did you walk into the masjid like this? Why are you wearing that? That is inappropriate clothing for the masjid. You're disrespecting the masjid. How come you're not praying? You hear the adhan of that. How come you're not going to pray? Why would you come to the masjid if you're not coming to pray? What's the point, right? You know, see this tone that comes out? Would you say that to your to your priceless treasure? Would you do that? Really? I don't think so. I don't think so. If you were afraid of losing this valuable item in front of you, this valuable resource, which is our youth, you can't replace it. You would spend all that you have, and you would give all the time that you have to make sure that they felt valuable. And really, we need to empower them. We need to let them know that they are wanted, they are needed. You know, the only time that I've seen a masjid flip the script, I'm not going to mention the name, but they're doing a really good job with youth program now. They hit rock bottom. There were no youth in the masjid. It was just a bunch of old men and sisters with maybe some babies. But the youth, the liveliness, they weren't there. For like 2 years, they were like, how do we get the youth back in the masjid? Now they wanted to figure out, how do we get, because it felt wrong. It felt like a masjid that was a ghost town. And because of that experience, they have revolutionized their youth program. They got 4 or 5 people working in their youth department. They are doing amazing things. Sisters and brothers, let's not wait until we hit rock bottom, all right? Let's invest now. Invest now and invest early, right? That's what they say in business. Invest now, invest early if you really want to do it. And my last little tidbit, I got like a minute left. Be prepared. And I think my next guest is going to help us talk about how to, hopefully she'll talk about like where to start with youth programming, right? But here's something that I want to say. Do not start a youth program until you're aware that if you have a successful youth program, here's the things that are going to go up. Your intermingling goes up. Your vandalism goes up. The cursing goes up. The theft goes up. All these things go up when you have a successful youth program and you start drawing people from all walks of life. It's not just the people that are like, I want to be a good Muslim boy. No, that's not the only people that come into the masjid. If it's successful, if it's fun, if it's exciting and engaging, all types of youth are going to start coming. They're going to stop going to the mall. They're going to come to the masjid. They're going to stop going out there to the movies on Friday nights. They're going to come to the masjid because you got a good youth program. So if you know that all those things are going to go up, you have to prepare. Hire the right people. Prepare the community to say, this is what's about to happen. We're about to invite our treasure into the community. These are some things that are going to start happening. Do not push them out of the masjid. Do not. That is our message to the people today. That is what we are thinking about today on Think About It. And without further ado, after we take a break for our sponsors, Penny Appeal, we're going to come back with an amazing guest. And we're going to talk more about youth. Just think about it. Assalamu alaikum.
Since August 25th of this year, over 600,000 individuals have fled from Myanmar into bordering Bangladesh. They've witnessed crimes against humanity. The United Nations calls what happened in Myanmar textbook definition of genocide, textbook definition of ethnic cleansing. We've been here for the last few months, providing them with access to clean drinking water, providing them with access to primary healthcare services, helping them build their shelters, as well as giving them weekly food distributions. We can't fathom what they've witnessed. The ones that have arrived into Bangladesh are the lucky ones. They're now residing in between the 22 to 25 official refugee camps that have now been established. With your continued support, we want to secure their future. We want to stay for the foreseeable future so that we can dig more water wells, so that we can provide them with more medication and more medical advice, so that we can help build more shelters, especially with the winter coming and the cold setting in. Please visit our website to find out more about our work and to support us with your generous donations. Thank you.
That's right. You made it back. I haven't left. You haven't left. Well, maybe you have, but if you're listening to me, you haven't. My name is Joshua Salaam. I'm the host of Think About It, and I'm so happy that you're here, and I'm so happy that you're going to meet my guest. She's a cool sister. First sister on the show. She has the honor of just blessing the studio with her presence. She's been working with youth for at least 6 years, maybe longer if you calculate, you know, some other work that she did in high school and stuff like that. But she's a veteran, and she's in the studio, and her name is, drum roll please, Abidah Ali.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Salam.
How are you?
And I'm glad that you look so happy to be here, so
I
alive.
am. It's a cool place. It's a cool
Got
studio.
the cameras
good
for
people.
you. The light is on you.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. So you are a youth coordinator.
Yes.
If somebody asks you what is that? What do you do? How would you explain? What's your 2-minute elevator pitch?
That's hard. I feel like youth coordination or youth coordinating or youth directing is the art of providing programs and mentorship to youth on a local or national level.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my youth coordinating experience has involved program development around knowledge-based programs, recreational programs, sports programs, mentoring and counseling for youth 12 to 18.
12 to 18.
Yeah.
Why that age group?
I think teenagers are.
It's not a job interview.
Yeah, that's what it kind of feels like. I'm like, is there pay after this? No, I feel like 12 to 18, I think most masajid and Muslim institutions feel that that's the time where youth need the most mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I focus on that group.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, I feel more comfortable with 12 to 18.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If they get too young, what happens?
You can't bring like Tupac references to 5-year-olds, so it's a little bit more difficult. So.
And if they get too old?
Too much challenge, I guess. I don't know. I just like 12 to 18. It's a nice time where they're maturing, they're seeking mentorship. It's just I just like the age group a lot more.
Now I remember when I first met you. You were playing basketball in the gym, and and I was the youth person at that time. Yeah, don't be bringing up no stuff in the studio. I was a youth person. I was working with youth at that time, and I said, "Who's this sister?" Because I had been for years. I swear to you, Sister Abidah, I had been trying to get sisters to embrace sports.
Yeah.
They would always. This is how it would go. Brothers be in the gym playing basketball, and the sisters outside the gym complaining. How come the brothers always got the gym? What about the sisters? We want to play too. So I got their back. I go in there like, brothers, get out, right? Get out now. Let the sisters in. And they come in with a storm, like 12 of them, laughing, giggling, playing. I'm like, okay, mashallah. I go around the corner. 5 minutes, no more than 6 minutes. I come back.
The boys
is one no.
Oh.
The boys ain't in there. Is one sister shooting the ball, and the other 10 of them in the corner talking. And then the brothers complain, they ain't even using the gym, man. They ain't using the gym. Because you're a sister. I figure you get it. How do you get those sisters involved in sports and embrace it? Because you've been doing some good work there.
Yeah, I think a lot of young women aren't encouraged enough to pursue sports. So I think the first thing that you need to do is, programming needs to be seen as something that's attainable for them.
Mm-hmm.
I started a girls basketball league at Adams Center, and the foundation of my program was...
Did it have a name or something like that?
It was Muslim Sports League, but just like the Muslim Sports League, which is a common...
Sisters basketball.
Okay. And the frame of it was if you've never played in a game, you've never watched a game, you don't even know what basketball is, you should come. Mm-hmm. And we got about 30 people the first season.
30 people?
Yeah, it was very cool. And the intention was to make it a developmental league. And it worked because the girls felt really safe to be like, well, actually, I don't know how a basketball game functions, but I want to know how it functions.
Right.
So their first homework was, you got to go home and watch a college basketball game and come back. So I think providing safe space for them to grow is really important. And from that now, the league has kind of grown. We have a good 30 to 50 girls every week coming out to play basketball for middle school.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
We do.
You got 30 to 50 girls every week?
And season, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We do.
That's ridiculous.
It's awesome.
MashaAllah. Well, that must have been what it is. See, I couldn't do it as a brother.
Yeah.
You come in as a sister working with youth, and you just knock it out 30 to 60. MashaAllah. There's no secret ingredient. There's nothing that you can tell communities how you sustain that.
You have to really believe in your volunteers at the end of the day. Really empower your volunteers to do the marketing that they want, provide them with spaces to approach parents and interact with parents. I think parent buy-in is the most important thing. A lot of parents said, are you just going to teach my kids basketball, or are you going to teach my kids etiquette with the sport? And I'm like, of course. So we would start our practices with, you know, like a team huddle where we talked about, at one point, each girl would do a reflection, a spiritual reflection before our practices, and then we would practice and we would close together. So I think having the advantage of playing in a masjid, because we did play at Adams, was really helpful. But incorporating...
And for those that don't know what Adams is?
Adams is the All Dulles Area Muslim Society, which is a local mosque in Northern Virginia.
And they got a gym in there.
And they have a gym in there, which is pretty funny because when I was a kid, I used to pray that I could play basketball in a masjid. This is in Miami, Florida. And then I came here in 2010 for Fawaka, and I was going to class. And I pull up to Adams, and there's a gym in the masjid. I was like, what? Crazy.
Masajid gets you a gym inside the masjid or outside the masjid. It helps bring youth. Now, speaking of bringing youth to communities, as I said in my previous segment, that I don't believe that the community values youth as this priceless resource, right? Like, it's one thing to talk about the youth, and you hear that all the time, the youth, the youth, the youth. But then when it comes to putting your money where your mouth is, or even putting your time where your mouth is, or even putting your heart where your mouth is, I haven't felt that coming from a large portion of the community. What would you say about that? Do you, from your experience, because yours is different than mine, I mean, you're getting 30, 50 girls together on a weekly basis to play sports, but have you felt there's pockets of people who really value the youth as the treasure of the community, or not?
I think there are pockets, but I think as a whole, Muslim communities struggle to put their money and their resources towards that vision of youth development.
Why? I mean,
I don't know. I think there's an approach where people believe that youth will come if there's a program, but in reality, youth will come if they know they're going to relate with the volunteers that are present. You could put on any program, I think, at a masjid, but if the people there aren't inviting and warm and energetic, the youth won't necessarily attend that. And when it comes to resources, we have to remember what demographic we're working with. Youth like to see things that pop out, that are engaging.
Like this shirt.
Like this shirt is perfect
poppin'.
example, right? Shout out to Penny Appeal USA. But I think a lot of masajids do have a stratified perspective of how much money needs to go into making sure youth feel that engagement from a psychological perspective.
How much money are we talking? How much money? If you were in charge,
This is so
you have your own, not even masjid, you have your own community center.
Okay.
And you want to do programming for youth. What would, and I don't want to say how big your community is, but let's just say, how much money do you think communities need to, because you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
So, and there's some masjids listening to this program. There's some people who work at the masjid that listen to the program, have youth that listen to this program. What do you think people need to be thinking budget-wise that they need to put for the youth?
Are we including people's salaries in the budget?
No, let's not include the salaries, but you can say how many people need to be full-time or part-time to serve those people, right? Yeah, so let's just do programming budget, and then tell me how many people need to be there for X amount of youth.
I think your programming budget, well, it depends on what the masajid first agrees is the vision of programs. Do you have camps throughout the year? Do you have mentoring?
Wait a minute. Abidah Ali gets the slow clap. She paused all of that. She didn't fall into the trap. She goes, wait. First, it's about the vision. So can you tell me a little bit about why you stopped and said it's about the vision first?
Sure. In a masjid setting, I think the viability of a program goes as far as the masjid leadership buys into those programs. So if, for example, I want to run a camp, let's just say it's a fitness camp, right? But the goals of the masjid are not fitness related, or they're not for that year, for that term or quarter, it's not necessarily that, then me producing that camp really disunites what I'm doing with the greater masjid vision. So I think the first step to anything you do is the masjid needs to support the vision that you're doing, or your vision needs to somehow aid theirs. Without that, you lose potential donor interest, you lose the presence of the board or your elected officials coming to those programs, and that kind of brings down the morale of your work ethic and the work that you're producing.
We're going to come back to the whole budgeting thing and that road that we were going down.
Sure.
But if you don't mind, I want to drill you on this a little bit more because I think it's important.
Sure.
So everybody thinks that they're right,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. I mean, people believe that they have a certain amount of knowledge and that they believe that they're right, especially if you're an uncle or auntie and you have children of your own.
Right.
And you say, well, this is how we did it back home, or this is how we did it when I grew up, or that. How do you get people to get on the same page vision-wise if some people are like, no, this is the way it should be done. We need to just do this type of program on these days. And somebody else is like, no, we need to be doing this type of program. How would you negotiate that?
I think bringing collective key stakeholders to the table is very important. A lot of times I think communities tend to, do programming individually without consulting the others because they assume that the other group won't really buy into their vision of what youth programming should look like. But if you create an open atmosphere where, let's just say you strongly believe in a youth sports program, and I strongly believe in a youth qiyam program or something. If we collectively sit at the table, and there's a space for us to sit at the table based upon our expertise in in youth development, I would like to caveat that youth development and parenting are two very different things.
Youth development and parenting
are two different things.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot of community members that believe because they're amazing parents, they know exactly what youth need, but I don't think it's necessarily that, simple and straightforward. But bringing, those different parties to the table and really assessing, hey, why do you think this is the most important thing? And why do you think this should be the objective of youth departments is very important.
Well, give me some ideas of what a key stakeholder looks like.
A key stakeholder, I think, looks like, one group of key stakeholders are parents, right?
Okay.
For youth programming, parents are the ones who usually pay for the program, drive their kids to the program, sign the permission slips and forms. So that's one major group. The second is the youth themselves, or usually they're the first. There's no point in producing programming that the youth themselves find very irrelevant because it's not catering to their needs, and they'll find those needs elsewhere. The third.
But what if I go, hey son, what kind of program you want? Oh, yeah, I asked the youth.
Well, your son's, a small representation of the greater, community at large. So I think it's about identifying different pockets of youth from different, interest groups, whether it be arts, people who are into creative arts, people who are into sports, people who are into studying Deen more intensively, bringing those youth together, bringing parents together, and then bringing community resources together. We have people in the community who are principals, who are doctors, who are lawyers, who work in the criminal justice system, people who are martial arts teachers, right? They all have seen youth in different wavelengths, and they can help, create a vision that says, by doing these programs, your youth may be more, protected from indulging in other things, or by doing these programs, your youth may, build more confidence in themselves. I think one major group that's missing is from these discussions of youth development is the input from counselors and mental health professionals as well. And I think if we don't really start to include them in addition to our imams and parents and youth, we won't really tackle or provide effective youth programming as we move on.
Are you getting all this, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, this is a wealth of information. Actually, we're kind of running out of time.
Okay.
Where did the time go?
I don't know.
That's what happens when you're talking about important things like youth. We're going to try to get a little bit more in the next segment when we do the game that I win, that I normally win.
That I will totally win.
Anyway, but I want to summarize what Abidah Ali was saying, really that getting on the same vision with the community is huge, it's important, and to make sure that you put the work in to get a diverse opinion of what type of youth programming you need. When you go to youth, you got to go to a diverse group of youth. When you go to parents, you got to go to a diverse group of parents. Different colors, different nations, different tribes, different economic backgrounds, wealthy, poor, middle class, different religious levels, people who are like all in the masjid all the time, and people that haven't associated with the masjid at all. You got to put the work in and find out what everybody wants to come up with the youth programming that she's talking about, if you want to do this type of work. So we're not going anywhere. Thanks to Penny Appeal, we're going to come right back. I want you to come back so that we can think about it with Joshua Salaam and our guest, Abidah Ali.
So as you see here, there's a well being built. The locals used to walk miles to get clean, safe water, but now it's getting built right in front of the doorstep, which I think is a great thing. And you can see the women are out here, the men are out here, they're very happy to have this here. Please donate generously to this fantastic thirst relief project by Penny Appeal. Donate online.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I am Joshua Salaam. I am the host of Think About It, the show that is just grabbing the world, I hope. And they're just tuning in from Indonesia to Cincinnati. Anyway, so our sponsor is Penny Appeal. You can visit them at pennyappealusa.org, so we want to thank them. And this is the game that I win all the time. And I'm gonna win today against Sister Abidah Ali, who is a word guru. She be spitting bars, she can freestyle and everything. So, you ready to play?
You're the one who's part of a music group, but that's fine.
I'm part of the music group. You're the whole music group.
I'm ready.
All right. So I go first always.
Okay.
Because that increases my chance, and it's my show with Joshua Salaam.
You know they can edit that. You know, backstage.
They're not gonna edit that.
Okay.
They're not gonna edit that. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
So wait, it's one word.
Yes.
And can I ever?
Why do guests always do this? This is an easy game, and you've watched the game before. Okay, yes. Clarification.
It's one word, and can I ask you if I forget what you previously described, or you actually restate it? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Whew.
Desk.
Chair.
Nope, but that is a good guess, and I would have said the same thing.
Okay. Prophetic.
Prophetic. Prophetic. Muhammad.
That's a good guess.
Okay. All right.
Go
I guess
with
you
that.
just would have said prophet if that was it, right? All right. All right. I said desk. You said chair. This is gonna throw you off, but let's give it a go. Building.
An office.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good because mashallah. All right.
All right.
That means I'm winning.
Oh. Okay. Narration.
Prophetic narration. Hadith.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Good job. Good follow up. Follow up. Ding, 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 ding. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Ramadan.
Fasting.
Nope. But those go together like peanut butter and jelly.
That's right.
Very good.
Okay. Teacher.
Student.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're
So
the
I'm
opposite.
winning. I'm winning.
So you're winning. You just took
Okay.
the lead. That's
Good,
correct. My first
This
clue
is like
was.
memorize all over again.
Oh my goodness. Memorize is a good app for those people trying to. We're in this
Learn Arabic.
learning Arabic thing. Okay. So Ramadan was the first clue.
Okay.
20.
Oh, Tarawih.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tie game. Tie game. Don't call it a comeback.
This is hard. Okay. Seasoning.
Seasoning. Okay. Flavor. All right. And if you hear any giggling, ladies and gentlemen, we have a small studio audience here with us today that you might hear in the background. Here we go. They're really small studio audience. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right. Keyword is haram.
Everything. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
If you're a youth, that's how it feels.
I know, right?
sometimes,
That's why I
you know?
said that. Haram. Halal. We're doing opposites?
Okay. No, I'm not doing opposites.
Okay.
I don't know what the opposite of that is.
Okay. Oh, this is so hard.
Wait a minute, is this a new word?
You know, it's the same word. So
What was the first clue?
The first guess was seasoning.
Seasoning.
The
And I said flavor.
second
Okay.
is red.
Paprika.
Why do you know that?
Because I cook, ladies and gentlemen. Brothers, get your seasoning out. Get your chicken. Put it up. Do you put paprika on chicken?
You do.
You do?
Get
Okay,
yourself
yeah,
someone
yeah.
who can cook.
I cook
everybody.
sometimes. Yeah.
Good.
And once again, you've taken the lead. So, those are two good clues. Seasoning, red. All right. So the first clue was haram. Oh, opinion.
What?
You know, I'm so happy now. The whole world is looking at you like, come on.
I know. I
No,
knew
I'm
this
just
day
kidding.
would come.
You probably need one more clue. You'll get it after this if you don't get it.
Opinion. I'm thinking of like rulings,
Okay.
like dalil, but I don't think that's
You,
it.
you can't keep throwing out words trying to get.
Okay,
I'm thinking
yeah,
like
I got
this
it.
or that or that. No, so it wasn't rulings. All right, very
Okay.
good. You're on your
Oh.
fourth word?
Yeah, I'm on my fourth one. Natural.
Unnatural?
No, natural.
Natural. Organic.
Yeah.
All right. Man.
That's
Mashallah.
a little biased.
Mashallah. Okay, okay. What did I say? What was the first one?
Haram.
Haram. Opinion.
Yeah.
Religious.
What?
Put it all together. Put it all together. Put it all.
Mufti. That's wrong.
You slick. You be throwing out words. Mufti.
I'm thinking
That's
out loud.
wrong
I'm thinking
because you
out
didn't.
loud. I'm thinking out
you
loud.
can't
Do you
think
want,
out loud
Do you
in
want
this game.
immaculate conception?
No, I
redo?
don't.
Exactly.
Don't bring back immaculate.
Shout out to
conception.
my
Okay.
brother. You did a great job.
Oh yeah, Ismail ibn Ali is
Oh,
her
man.
brother.
Haram.
No. Put it. What are the three words?
Haram, opinions, and what was the clue you just gave?
Religious.
Sins?
No. Okay.
Okay. My turn.
Last word for you, huh?
Yeah, because I'm good at this game. Nose.
Face. Okay. Haram.
Why am I not getting this?
Opinion. Religious. Scholar.
You ever feel like something's staring you in the face and you know it's there?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
You're looking at it right now. Haram, opinion, religious scholar. A law? I don't know. Like a legal ruling? I don't know.
What?
I'm so stuck.
Okay, I'm gonna lose.
I know this is something super easy.
I think the producers set me up to lose. I'm supposed to win, and I have not been winning. This is terrible. All right, go
Okay.
ahead. Last word. Oh,
So
did
I
you already
said-
give me a clue?
No, I said, man, what was my first clue?
Look at the word. Maybe it'll come back to you.
I said, I think I said nose.
Yeah, you did say nose.
Okay, the second one is inhale.
Nostrils?
Yes.
Okay, so I lose. Okay, so
What was my word?
okay, so
So
let me try to get you to guess this. Ruling.
You said ruling already.
No, you said ruling as a guess. Haram, fatwa.
Oh, I said dalil I said
But
dalil.
what can I say? I can't be like, oh, you're getting closer. Keep
Yeah,
going.
you'd be like.
So how
it's
would
warm.
you do fatwa?
No, you did a really good job. I couldn't think of that word.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
good. Those were good. Those were good.
Okay.
Explanations.
The next word was like let's see here. Cheap.
Frugal.
Metal.
You were so confident, like I was totally gonna get that.
Sandwich. Picnic.
Cheap metal.
Aluminum.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm gonna go home and practice. I'm gonna YouTube this game, and I'm gonna be doing push-ups. I'm come back tomorrow, and I'm gonna kill it. And the last one was.
Only got to 3?
Yeah.
Oh, so sad.
I only got to 3. The last one was robot. And so we have a few minutes. So since we have a few minutes,
Okay.
I want to go back and I'm gonna ask you because I took you off course a little bit with the whole vision of youth programming. Which the reason I did that is because if you don't get that right, everything else is gonna mess up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much money you have.
Right.
It doesn't matter how many programs you have. If your vision as a youth coordinator is different than the vision of your leadership, if your vision as a parent stakeholders is different than the vision of the youth, it's all going to fall apart. There has to be some work put in there to get them all together.
Yeah.
So thank you for allowing me to take you down that road. But if that all gets aligned in sync, if that all gets aligned, then what?
Then you have the potential to make really impactful programming. I think after that, the biggest thing is training your volunteers to be very youth-oriented. So what does that mean? Like if a youth makes a mistake when it comes to, you know, gender relations, which is something we see, not mistake necessarily, but if youth are interacting in a certain way, that's not the best way. How do you properly pull them to the side and have those conversations? I think training volunteers to know how to do that, how to make physical spaces, you know, that are physically inviting to youth, and creating programming that's relevant. I think if you have those 3 components afterwards, you know, obviously in a nice budget, you know, can really make for impactful programming, impactful youth, which eventually, you know, they're your masjid. They're going to be your masjid donors in like 20 to 30 years, right? And if they have sweet memories of what they did as children, or how they were supported as college students, maybe not necessarily through Adams or through the masjid, but, you know, in their MSAs, then I think they're more likely to come back and really be, you know, a force of good as they get older.
I'm glad you said that, because in the last few minutes, I'm going to share with people, if you don't know, inshallah, I'll be headed to Duke University as the Muslim chaplain there. And let me tell you, and you already know, so I don't have to tell you, we'll be telling the world how those universities look at those youth when they become alum. They take care of them on that campus. They give them the best that they can give them, the best teachers, the best experiences, so that when they graduate and they go on into the workforce, that they will not forget the university.
Yeah.
And they expect those alum to donate to that university.
Yeah.
And it's normally some major alums that have given like millions of dollars to their alma mater or the wherever they graduated from. Do you think that's coming in Masajid, that the leadership will look at the youth as, we got to really take care of these youth, because one day when they grow up and they might move to a different country, but they're going to remember this masjid and they're going to help us out?
I think they have the intention to do that, but I don't think they do it in actuality. I think the way youth feel to a certain extent acknowledged for their presence is by engaging them. And we have youth who are phenomenal artists, phenomenal, you know, videographers, they're writers, they're journalists, they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're all these things. But if the masjid doesn't see their potential and, you know, say, hey, we had these youth who did this amazing program this week, or hey, we have these youth that, if we don't start to recognize youth in the accomplishments that they're having now, they're not going to remember that they were ever acknowledged for things that they had talent in, you know? And if youth organize themselves and they, you know, present things to the masjid board or, you know, to the community as a proposal, and the community kind of ignores that or they delay that, it really affects the way they feel valued in those communities. So when it comes back to retaining future donors, and I strongly believe the youth that I've worked with across Northern Virginia and what I've worked with across the United States, we're looking at top-notch researchers. I feel like the youth I've worked with will be top-notch researchers, teachers, artists, all of those things, and we're going to lose them if we don't start to really value and acknowledge them for the good that they've done in the Muslim community and the good that they've done outside of that community as well. Because a lot of youth feel stratified. Like, I'm this amazing math Olympian, but the Muslim community doesn't care that I'm a math Olympian, right? Or, you know, I'm an amazing...
You got to be Hafiz or nothing.
Yeah, and it's this very weird hierarchy of youth clout, basically, right? So I just think it's really important that if masajid, you don't always have to have the money, but if you have the acknowledgement, like, wow, we're really proud of you, I think that at minimum does something. Recognition is a part of, you know, basic human experience, right? And when masajid, I think, lack that, you take away humanism from that experience. So I think we need to do that in order to retain people.
I think we need to do that too.
Yeah.
And you heard it here from Sister Abidah Ali, who was a veteran youth coordinator, and from Joshua Salaam, and I'm a veteran youth worker too, and you better recognize, if you don't know, now you know. And thank you for tuning in to Think About It with Joshua Salaam and our guest, Abidah Ali. See you guys tomorrow. Don't go nowhere other than prayer and back.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.